Hello and welcome, Spirit Team. That might sound confusing if you don't know me, and we'll get into that down the road because, yeah, if you found this video, there's probably a reason, whether you're just a friend, family member, or there's a reason that you found this video, from the universe to you're kind of feeling down in the dumps and wanting to work on yourself. Maybe you've heard the term from 3D to 5D consciousness. There's a million of reasons why you could have found this video, but the fact that you found it makes me happy. Welcome. Glad to be here. Glad to be here. That makes a whole lot of sense. But you know what? I'm not going to try to figure it out. Who am I? Well, most people would call me a psychic, but I don't really like using that term, so I just like to prefer the term intuitive channeler. And while I haven't always had these abilities, I unlocked them in the past year, and I want to show everybody how to do so, how it's possible without charging people $3,000 for some spiritual awakening program. We'll just say a time in the universe of our world, of our evolution, where it's, for lack of better terms, shit or get off the pot. We're either going to start evolving our consciousness, or we're going to stay down in the dumps, in the demons, in our trauma, in our fears. Because let's be honest, fears kind of rule this world we're in, right? So I'm developing this program. I call it the IMP program, the IMP, your Inner Mind Palace. What this is going to do is this is going to help you center your consciousness, because there is so much going on in this world that it's hard to kind of figure out what to do, how to navigate, what's good, what's bad, what's right, what's wrong, how you're supposed to just live this life. So I've created this little modality. I call it the Pot and the Plant Modality. This is a way to help you kind of bring yourself back and center your consciousness a little bit. So let's take these little guys. Every single one of us we're gonna say is a plant right now. This plant right here, each one of these little plants are spirits. Just like inside of you and me, it's our spirit, our essence, our life force. Just the same life force that's inside of these plant clippings that are growing roots, trying to fight for life, that's inside of you and me. We all have this driving life force, this spirit. Once you read my book, we'll figure out how connected we are, but whole other conversation I'm not going to try not to get sidetracked on. But so when we are born, we have our spirit, we have our little plant, right? And our plant gets put into a pot. We're going to call the pot our body. We don't get to choose our pot. We wish we did. Trust me, being trans, I definitely wish I could have chose my pot, because I would have chose that pot over this pot. But I got stuck with this pot. But okay. Cool. So we get our pot, we get our plant, and we are born. We are born into this nice, cute little plant. Oh, look at this little adorable little guy. The cute little pot and everything. And we're born, we're perfect. We're meant exactly how we're supposed to be. Our ego might say otherwise, but we're still born in the way we're supposed to be. Trust me, this was an accepting part for me as well, because that means I had to accept the fact that I was born into the wrong body, but I was, for a specific reason. So here I am, given this pot, given this plant, my spirit, ready to grow, everything like that. The only things that I really have to worry about when you're born, when you're a little baby, is I dropped my little stuff. Food and water. That's all we really got, right? Although I don't know if that's going to translate well, because the video camera's all flipped around. Trust me, this says food and water, but yeah, it's probably backwards for you guys, and that's on me for not recording the camera the other way. Whatever. But so food, water, and love. Food, water, and love. That's all our little baby self has to worry about, right? And according to society's little box of standards, society, we are perfect. We fit inside of society's little box perfectly, right? You're born, you're this perfect little image of whatever you are as born as. You fit inside society's box. You're perfect. But then we start growing, and life kind of happens to us, right? So, as life kind of happens to us, we can't really just focus on love, food, and water. There's a lot more things going on, right? Because then automatically you're also born male or female, so we've got to put that little label on our box, because that's a driving factor on what you're going to do. And so we're going to grow up, we're going to get a bigger pot. Okay, cool. So we're going to move all of these guys over here. We got our nice little pot. We got our nice little plant inside the pot. Now it's growing. It's got a lot more things. Well, now we've got to worry about good and evil and things like that, of course, right? And then we've got every other thing that happened to us. Well, I'm going to throw the trans label on there because there's no denying it. I'm trans. And life experiences. CPTSD, that's another label. Well, my pot's kind of filling up again, so I guess, well, life experience, everything. I'm starting to grow everything. So it's time for another pot. Let's flash forward, right? Let's just take a time jump. You're grown. You've got this big pot. Look at this big, beautiful pot. Big old plant. We've still got all of our labels, so we're just going to move all of these labels over here. Because this is who we are, right? This is our body. These are the things that we have to deal with. These are the things that our mind is focused on. Whether we think so or not, our mind is focused on these things. Well, it's kind of hard to do 5 things at once. Think, talk, move little sticker thingies, peel off tape, not spill the plants because you don't want to spill the plants. Okay, so now that I've gotten those over there, so when we're growing up and we've got our plant, we've got the body that's our pot, but this soil in here is everything that you've learned, grown with, experienced, how you learn to survive, how your plant learned to grow as big as it is. Whether those things were healthy for you or not, it still helped you get to where you are. But if you've ever worked with plants, you know at some point in time, you're gonna have to dump this soil out because all the nutrients in it, everything healthy, is hurting you more than helping. So you have to take this dirt out, put in brand new dirt, new nutrients, give it that love, support, everything like that, right? So, back to our flash forward moment, right? We've got all of our other labels on there. Well, what else do we got? Well, we figured out something else that happened into our childhood, so that's just another label that we're going to throw in there. I won't do the definition of CSA, but we're just going to leave it at that. Heartbreak, that definitely affects the body. Religion, that's going to affect that soil depending on what you believe. You could, if you're born Catholic and baptized Catholic and turn out trans, how's that really going to regulate your spirit and your essence? Your past experiences. I know all of these are flipped, and if hopefully I'm able to figure it out, and now I'm just talking out like it's not really flipped, but past experiences. We've got rent. What else do we've got? Oh, now you're a parent, so that's a whole other label to put on and a whole other thing of expectation. It also adds a bunch more fears to life. You've got more bills on top of bills, because, you know, you still have your son-daughter relationship, lad, whichever you are, that you have to deal with your parents. That probably should have went back in the beginning, but they were turned upside down. You can't judge me. Body image. We know society is all about body image because, once again, if you don't fit inside of society's little box that they say you need to fit into, then you're wrong. Of course, friendship. Friendship is important. Without friends, you feel alone, so you're gonna focus on friends. And your dreams. You're gonna focus on your dreams. But look at all this stuff that this pot is carrying. All of these labels, all of these things that your mind is wrapped up on every single day. At any given moment, your mind is focused on all of these things that your pot is going through. Now, what I'm getting to with this is, even though your pot is holding all of these labels, your plant Not that spot. That spot's not good. Look at that. The soil and the things, the labels, everything that you're holding is starting to affect the plant. It's starting to kill the plant from the inside out. This is how cancer and things are created. People like to think it's a very 3D thing. It is something that you caught, something that you ate, something that you did. Now, while those things, yes, do affect the body and can hurt you, the worst thing that can hurt you is your spirit and your essence, that soil that you learned, the things you grew up believing full-heartedly that if it's not that way, then it must not be true. It's that whole good-evil context. Unfortunately, our world was driven by religion. You can't even tell me what year it is without it being affected by religion. Before Christ, after death, our very existence is based upon religion. Well, what if that's harmful and says that you're evil and going to hell? Well, that's going to affect your spirit. Your spirit's going to start affecting. So you've got to dump out that soil. You've got to figure it out. So basically, the best way to send in your consciousness is stop focusing on these labels. No matter how overwhelming life seems in that moment, no matter how extreme, how many bills you have, the heartbreak, the friendship, your job, no matter what is going on, take a step back from it. Take a moment to yourself. Take 5 minutes. Focus on your plant. Focus on your life essence, your beauty, your unique footprint. A good way to do this, I actually saw on a TV show, and it's funny. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but called Midnight Gospel. It's get hit, like it, hate it, whatever, it doesn't matter. But what it did teach is a good way to check in on your body. Check in with your spirit to see if you've got these spots forming, because those spots form and layer and layer and layer without them ever being checked. If your spirit is never checked, it's going to start eating itself up. So, take 5 minutes, take a couple big deep breaths, just close your eyes. Check in on your spirit. When is the last time you felt your spirit inside of your body? So if you have to, look down at your fingers. Look at your fingertips. Feel your essence inside of your fingertips. Feel your spirit, your soul. Wiggle your fingers. You got to think that that electrical impulse from your brain is going down into your fingers and telling your fingers to wiggle it. Right? So, that's your essence. Feel the warmth of your essence. Then, when you can start feeling that, shift your focus to your toes. When's the last time you checked on your toes? Your toes do a lot of work without us even thanking them or realizing it. So what I like to do is using my third eye, using my imagination, because our imagination is our most wonderful tool. But I'll picture a little smiley face down on my big toe. I can have my shoes on, it doesn't really matter. I just mentally picture a little smiley face down there, and I check in on my little smiley face. I'm like, how are you doing, you little toe? Are you doing good down there? Are you holding me up on all this BS I am putting myself through because I am so focused on all this other stuff that I think I've got to really do in order to survive? Because, once again, if I don't fit in society's box of standards, this is the way the world says to do things. So if you don't fit inside of this box, you are not normal. So we focus on this box, and we focus, how am I supposed to get inside of this box? You're told to dream big, become yourself, become your true essence. How am I supposed to fit inside of society's box now? I can't. Maybe that's because we were never meant to fit inside of this box. This box was meant for this person, and maybe a couple people that had similar paths, but our consciousness is expanding at an elevated rate. We're not made for this box. You can take this box, society's standards, everything that you've known, believed, and thought was true, because if you don't see it with your eyes, it doesn't exist. That whole line of thinking, throw it out the window. That is not doing anything but hurting and hindering your spirit, because why would I want to shrink this plant? Why would I want to cut it down to fit inside of that tiny box when it's beautiful and unique. There's the key word, unique. There is nothing wrong with you. There is nothing. You are unique for a reason. You're not meant to fit inside of that box. So let's not try to conform and fit ourselves in there. Check in on our spirit. Check in on that toe. See how it's doing. Feel that essence inside of you. Feel your plant inside of the pot. Instead of focusing on that pot could break. You can throw the pot off of the shelf. It shatters. No more pot. But the plant is still there. So while your pot is going through hell, your pot is responsible for bills, your pot is a parent, your pot is all of these things, the abuse, the trauma, everything that has ever happened to you is held within your pot. If you check on your spirit and realize that you're still breathing, you're still living, you're still thriving, and everything, even though you went through everything, your spirit is still strong and fighting. Because the only person that can put out your spirit is you. Remember, darkness isn't an overwhelming power. Darkness doesn't have the power to engulf light. But light does have the power to make darkness disappear. If you find your inner light, your inner spirit, your inner essence, all of the other problems kind of disappear. So when you're having that day that you're just so stressed, everything's just overwhelming, take those 5 minutes, check in on your spirit, think about the pot and the plant and how much your spirit is truly affected. And if you're just trying to fit into society's little box of standards and making yourself miserable in the process, because that's all we're doing, is killing ourselves. Well, wherever that spot went, I don't know, I turned the plant. That's kind of funny, isn't it? Ah, look, there's a spot. And do you know why that happens? Remember how I told you with the whole electrical impulses, every thought that you have coming down to wiggle my finger? That's electrical impulse. So what happens when you're sitting here in your mind for an hour just stewing over depression, stewing over things, making up scenarios in your head, thinking all of the things that you're doing, but not moving? Where's all that electricity going? Where's all that energy going? If every thought is electricity and it's not actually doing anything, where is it going? It's going inside of the body. And after years and years of built up energy, built up spots, it's gonna start eating you up from the inside out. So start loving yourself. That's the best advice I can give. Even if things are overwhelming and stressful, it'd be like, I love me. Yeah, life's hell right now. My pot's going through a number, my body, my essence, everything, but I love my plant. I love who I am. And nobody can tell me that what I'm doing is wrong. Because you love you in the end. I hope this message helps. Stay tuned. I'm going to put out a bunch more videos on hopefully help everybody, help humanity raise their consciousness to one of love and higher vibrations, because now's the time. What do we have to lose? We've lived the fear-based trauma living for far, far too long. Let's create our existence. One of love, unity, health, beauty, all the things in between. I could just sit here and name off a bunch of things, but until my next video, guys, take care. Bye.